Welcome to the Success Journey Show. Let's travel together through the lives of individuals on the road to success.
Hey, travelers, what's going on again? Marlon, Madden's the Success Journey Show, and we are live. You guys are like, man, dang, these guys be doing some live shows now. We're here, and this is a treat. I know you're looking and you see in the background, you see a rim, you see a basketball court. This is going to be a good one because we're going to get into a lot of different things today. I had the opportunity of meeting these guys probably a year and a half ago, and ever since it's been like a brotherly love relationship. I'm going to tell you that because my son actually goes to their school, and we're going to get into all of that. But before I do so, Ricky, how you feeling today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm blessed, dude. Down here, and I've been hearing a lot about these guys, man. Famous hockey coaches. Black hockey coaches. Oh, man. A lot of great things, man. I've been living vicariously through Marlon, man, from a distance, but watching them as they've been growing in this area, but they've been around for quite some time. So really excited to jump in and just talk with them, learn their story, man, and hopefully you guys are able to take something away from it. You know, Marlon and I, we got some things coming that are in the works right now that this will be on. And, man, we're just excited about what we're able to bring to the space from our vantage point, man. We're both like, what was it? We played ball in our days. Marlon still thinks he can still ball up and down the court. You know, he's that old man that has to wrap up both legs, both elbows, both necks and everything. Yeah, he keeps saying that. But, you know, seeing the kids, you know, and developing youth growing up, man, that's where our passion is right now. So excited to be here with these fellas here just to hear their story.
Yes. So we're going to let them introduce themselves. I'm not going to steal their thunder. These guys are going to introduce themselves. They're a big part in my son's life. That's why I'm doing this, actually, to make sure that he gets on the good side. Nah. We're going to start over there with my man, with the polo.
You know, polo friend. I'm Zachus Gillion.
That's it.
Hey, everyone. My name is Darren Gillion, owner of Gillian Basketball Academy, also director of Team Breakdown as well.
And what's up, everybody? My name is Maurice Smith. I go by Mo. From South Florida, played for these guys when I was younger. So excited to help grow the basketball culture up here in the DMV area.
You know, we're going to start with that, right? So right beside you, beside me, beside you, you have a product of somebody that played in your organization, went through college, and is back here helping you as one of the coaches. Mo, how did it feel, the full circle from being the young kid that I know how these guys talk crazy. Yo, I'm gonna tell you something. If I didn't understand, he told my son, Rashad, you smoking dope. Rashad did something crazy on the court. He said, Rashad, you smoking dope.
No, facts.
Or him right here, he goes, what is Rashad doing? Yo, go get Rashad, man. Right?
Yeah. Right.
From going from that to here, what's the transition? How do you feel like, what is going on, and how do you feel in that whole process?
Yeah, man. So like coming out of high school, I always knew I would come back because I've always seen the guys before me come back, and they always preach that. Like literally every time we talk to a younger group, they always say, "Hey, only thing we want from you guys, we don't want money, we don't want your resources. We just want you to come back and give your time." So I always knew after high school I would do that. So it started in 2016, 2017. The summertime, I would come back. Coach Zack would be in Northeast. He moved back up here by that time, or at least 2 years after. But yeah, I'll come back and I'll help train. And then sometimes Coach Zack will lead a gym with me by myself in there, and I'd have to like coach the whole team. And I just realized I was like, this is something I love doing. So that full circle moment was like surreal because yesterday, at my baby shower, I was able to see these guys along with my mom, my brother, my sister, everybody that pretty much started the journey with me. So it's been a great moment to see for sure. But I love it. I love every moment of it.
Definitely. Hey, he has on his hat, right? It's Happy Dad. And you think it's just saying Happy Dad because he had his shower yesterday and he's a happy dad. I'm gonna tell you, that's a beer company. I'm not a drinker. I'm not an advocate for drinking, but whatever. They sponsor a lot of different podcasts. Happy Dad. You see this right now.
Yeah.
Give us a holler. all this is blacked out. right.
Yeah, so man, I love it, man. So you're going to have that full circle moment, but let's take it back, right? So Marlon was telling me, man, this is a group of brothers, man, that growing up, let's take it back there, man. How many of you in the family, how many brothers do you have? How many siblings, I should say, in general, coming from Florida, right? The Florida area. What was it like growing up in the household, and what really attracted you to just the game of basketball?
Yeah, so like just coming up. So first of all, it's 8 of us. All right, so it's 7 boys and also 1 girl.
Oh man.
So inside of our household, it was really, really competitive. So my dad always created just a competitive nature environment from the beginning. So the late Kenny Sr., bless his soul, but he always just wanted us just compete, whether it was on the basketball court, whether it was for academics, whether it's just in life. So he created that culture. So inside the house, man, it was a lot of one-on-ones. Every one of us thought that we was the best basketball player. So we used to do one-on-ones like crazy. So loser one-on-ones had to do extra chores like watch dishes and things of that nature. And even my dad, he was a huge one-on-one guy as well. So, I mean, like.
He never did the dishes, though.
No, he never did that. Listen, that young man ruled with an iron fist. But, I mean, he was the first one, honestly, that really, like, put the ball inside of our hands, right? So, like, from the beginning, he put the ball in our hands. It used to be a neighborhood court called Pompano Park that we used to go to all the time. And so we grew up on those courts, like on a blacktop. So we was there as young as 3-4 years old. Wow. And, we'll start off on the playgrounds or just being on the court and just working our way up. And then, we developed that love for basketball. And, it just took us just everywhere, just from just training each other, supporting each other. And, that's the only thing we really knew. It was like basketball. And, my dad was always saying, this game can just take you so many different places. And so the game of basketball have just been great to us for all these years.
Oh, I love it. Rick, you know what his nickname is, right?
What's that?
50.
Oh.
We'll get into that. Yo, this man's name is 50. It was like 50 Cent. No, we get to where I call him 50, right? We get to go to 50. What was your experience like, Zach, being in that household?
Similar to Darren's. I mean, we my dad he was just big on competitiveness. That was his thing. I mean, my dad would wake us, everybody up in the house, got to get up on Sunday, and we just put a series of one-on-ones. Everybody. Except for my mom. And my mom would get up for the reason my mom would cook. So he'll make a big event. And I can imagine they probably was in the house, hey, let's go make breakfast. I'm going to take them out to the park. So, it was stuff like that. So it was cool growing up with a lot of brothers. You had your ups and downs, but you had people that had your back, even including my sister. Truth be told, my sister is probably the most G-ist one out of all of us. So I mean, when y'all meet my sister, y'all be like, okay, she fits in. So, but it was cool growing up. But basketball was the thing for all of us. That was kind of like our escape. Yeah. So basketball has definitely took us to places that we never knew that we would go. So, and that come from my dad. The basketball was big just for my dad.
So let's let the cat out the bag. What's the tally here? 1-on-1, man. Who's won more 1-on-1s against each other?
I will say this: when he was younger, he probably. I wasn't a talented basketball player. I was one of those guys that I was a hustle guy. I was a master defender and a leader, but I didn't have the talent. He definitely was better than me. I would say probably until we got 25, and then I started to actually. I would say from 18 to about 25, came in contact with one of my basketball mentors,
Barry
Taylor, and he was the first person to ever train me in basketball. So we grew up like most kids. The park is your trainer. One-on-ones is your trainer, or if you was technically sound. You probably would record a game and see somebody do a move, on the VHS. We didn't have YouTube, so we didn't have access to moves. So, but when I got to college, just as a regular student, man, I'm gonna be honest, my grades suffered because I would go to Barry Taylor's training. He had free training for the community. And you give a basketball junkie like me free training, I was there every day missing some class times. I'm talking about like I struggled in college because of Coach Taylor, but he set the platform for what we do today. I would just sit at his feet and just learn the training side of it because I wanted to be a better basketball player. And so just from that, I think that spawned or that helped leapfrog me into becoming the trainer I am today.
Right.
So shout out Coach Taylor, man.
Yeah.
No, for real, because like Coach Taylor, just to piggyback on that, like he was the one that really got us into like learning how to train. Because in Tallahassee, Florida, he used to train all the top FSU guards and players that came out of there. So we think of Sam Cassell, Charlie Ward, all those guys he trained. So inside of just I'll say like the inner city of Tallahassee, he just gave back to the community. So he was just giving out just free training lessons. And then, so, we used to come inside there like, man, let me see this guy train. Because he trained us, inside of high school as well. We used to go up there in the summers because my older brother, Breon, used to go to Florida State. And so we'll just go to Tallahassee to work out and train with Coach Taylor. Then we got there in college. We'll just watch him train. And so he was just one of those trainers that would just break everything down. Right? So he was more so like a teacher. So now he was breaking down the move and he was making just the student just understand why you're doing this move. So we'll just sit there just like for hours, like Zach has said, we'll be missing class. So our class is more so like the basketball. And it was this gym called Cell Gym inside Tallahassee, Florida. So we'll just be there for hours just watching Coach Taylor train. And man, like we soaked up so much knowledge from that. And then we just took that, his trainings, and just like really just ran with it. So, I mean, when it comes down to trainers, like, honestly, I think he's the godfather when it comes down to just training. Because he can look at your game and just break down your game and just inject everything that you need to be a better basketball player. So it's just a treat just to see him train, just in general.
That's big because we're in the age now with YouTube and Instagram where everyone's a trainer.
Yes.
Pick up your cell. If you
Like,
got a cell phone, you became a trainer overnight. Because they played in some elementary or church league. So to the point of being able to break down players. And well, I'm not gonna go there yet. I love the fact that you guys appreciated the game so much, where you didn't even tell me that you were playing on the team. More so the fact that you were in there soaking in how they were doing the training.
100% the train, and he would train for an hour. Mind you, this training session is free and it's open to anybody. So back then, that wasn't normal. Training in 1999, 2000 was $100 to $150 an hour. I remember when Durance went to a trainer. How much did the trainer charge when he was in high school?
It was just too much. We couldn't afford it.
So I remember he went to a trainer. I was like, "What is this, man?" You in this park culture. You're like, "What is this guy teaching?" But when we got to Tallahassee, he was offering free lessons. I was like, man, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, school. It's I got a class at 12. It's 11:59. I'm like, man, Mama just about to be mad at me. Now that probably, aided to me not getting good grades in school. So, how you said, I wouldn't recommend that, to students. But yeah, he was cool, and he, like Coach said, he had the ability to break it down. He made, and he was real. As a matter of fact, my oldest son. I just took him to work out with him this past summer.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
okay.
Just to see what he says, get his opinion on him and whatnot. So
yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm a basketball I eat, breathe, sleep basketball. I remember the first time. Ricky could tell you about this, because I think my IQ's high, and I'm watching. I'm like, man, what is this guy doing this? Da 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 da. Right? And I coached before I came up here, and then when I came into, I remember the first time. I saw Zack teaching the Zoom action or 3 on the fence, whatever one you want to call it. And I was like this, yo, this dude is teaching, because I'm military, so I understood.
Yeah.
Like when you go to boot camp, right, and you start in boot camp day one, nobody knows. Everybody's come from different places in the world or in the nation, right, on the east side, whatever. But you understood like how they teach you how to march. They taught you step by step till everybody was locked and loaded and doing everything the exact same way. And when I saw Zack and you guys teach, I was like this. Wow, this is just like boot camp.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, everybody came on this side, they're lined up here, and you thought, I was like, he's teaching this one daggone.
Dude, that wasn't the first one, though, you got excited about.
Which was the first one?
The dribble handoff.
Oh, yeah, the dribble handoff.
He called me. He was like, yo, dude, they had all the guys just doing dribble handoff.
Yeah. I was like, they just have all the guys doing dribble handoff.
Now, I'm going to be honest. Okay, I coached high school for about 10 years.
Yeah.
All right. Then when I coached in college, I think it was a double thing. Just coaching in college, those, the college coaches, when you go to the seminars, you watch different coaches. What I was doing in high school, I was just going over plays. When I got to college, you see that those college coaches, they separate the play. So you're going to perfect one half of the play with 2 to 3 people, and then you're going to perfect the other half of the play with 2 or 3 people, So I was like, whoa, that's a different way of doing it. And so that's one of the, the advantages you have just as a college coach. And then just from teaching, you have to create lesson plans. So you understand that, you have to lead up to certain things. So, I think that's probably the advantage that I probably have over like, a lot of like coaches or trainers is the fact that I've been to the Division I level. And everything I do, it leads to another thing. So, with that dribble handoff, we did 5 minutes of dribble handoff because in my mind, I'm like, I know we're about to get to this 3 on the fence or this Zoom action. But the first action is got to be a handoff. We got to perfect this thing. Got to know what to do. If he overplay it, go back door. Just all those simple things. So, that's just a combination of being a teacher and being a Division I coach. So, one of the things.
I'm gonna tell you. So. And I'm going to jump back and forth because Mo, I know we talked about your story and how, COVID kind of messed you up in the sense of you having aspirations to go further in basketball. I heard you're no slouch. You haven't played me yet. You know what I'm saying? He keeps on ducking me, right?
We definitely played before. We definitely shot around.
Oh, yeah, we shot.
I definitely done got you. I definitely done got you.
I forgot about that. That's that old age.
Nah. I got to put that on record.
No. I didn't win none of those shoot-arounds, too?
You won 1 or 2. But it's like, come on now, 1 or 2 to like 50. Like, come on now.
So talk about your story just for guys here that's in college. We're going to get back to the building blocks, but talk about just in college from your aspect. What did you see and what did you expect and what really happened? Because the expectation and what really happens is 2 different things.
Yeah, no, definitely. So when I got to college, like coming out of high school, I thought if you go there, you work hard, you do your schoolwork, you're going to play. And when you get there, it's a whole different thing. It's the political side of things kick in now, more so than in high school. These guys did a good job of like trying to like put me up on game. And obviously the guys that came back from college will try to put you on game, but until you're in it, you don't really know.
Yeah.
So just getting into school, you realize it's not just the hardest workers, it's the guys that can perform. Like, you got to be able to perform. Like no matter how hard you work, no matter what you're doing on the side, no matter the connections you have, you got to be able to go into a setting that's unfavorable for you or favorable and perform. So that's the biggest thing that I try to tell the kids today. Like, you doing all this working out is cool, but if you can't hit a shot or you can't play defense or execution is definitely worshipped at that level. So you got to be able to execute. So that's the biggest thing I realized from coming from high school to college. But I also realized too, everybody's not there for the same reasons you're there for. So you think going into school, everybody's on the team because they want to play ball after. And you realize this guy's playing ball because, well, I know that after I do these 4 years, I got a free degree. And then I can go there. I can go this place, this place. Yeah. Or I'm only here because it's a favor for my dad or whatever the case is. So there's a lot of, like I said, the politics takes over. But you realize, okay, your main reason has to be your main reason because a lot of people go there and they lose sight or they're not there for the same reasons as you. So you can get mixed in with the wrong crowd very easily, especially if you're on a team with guys that you spending 8-9 hours a day with, especially traveling, going to different cities. You know, it's a lot. So you got to stay focused. But definitely that. But in terms of the basketball piece of it, like he said, it's a lot more structured. Like, I don't care what high school you come from. There's no real like mimicking that environment until you're in it. Like, it's very structured. I'm talking about from the time you get there, your workouts, like your testing, your body composition. They do all that stuff just to make sure, okay, where you are now as an athlete and how and what we're trying to get you to or where you're trying to get to, they got to bridge that gap. So they got to do a lot of testing, but it's a lot of structure and a lot of rigor for sure.
So do you think the academy here actually prepares those kids here? Talk about the academy and how you took that lesson that you've gotten there and imparted into these guys and how you're actually training them on that level.
Yeah, so one thing, like Coach Zack said, I think what helps me is being under these guys. Like, I studied under great teachers, right? And they helped me become, I think I'm a pretty good teacher myself in the game of basketball. But yeah, no, like for sure. So the lessons that I learned from there, and I think that it applies to this because here, this structure is like as close as you can get to a college structure in terms of you're going to come in here, you're going to lift, all right? You're going to get stronger, faster. You're going to have a better IQ for the game, understanding the game, watching film, breaking down film. But it's just the demand of going hard. I think a lot of places you go to around the country, you see that they don't go hard. Like, we just came back from the DR, right?
Yep.
Those kids, because of their situation, have to go hard.
Yes.
Now, you take those same kids and you put them in another area, like let's say here, versus our kids, and then a lot of our kids, because they're not forced to go hard because of their environment, they're like, okay, well, I can just chill and relax. Well, no, in college, it's not like that. Everybody's trying to get to everybody's got to get to their spot. You got to move fast. You got to think on the fly, but you also got to be receptive to the coaching and a lot of people yelling at you, a lot of different directions, a lot of different stuff. So I think the academy is the best thing that you can have as a young athlete in today's times, aspiring to play at that level, because it gets you prepared not only better than the traditional system, but it gives you a detailed approach to how you should attack life. A lot of people think that, oh, if I could do this in basketball, I could do other things in other areas of life. No, like how you are, I forget the famous saying, but it's like, how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah. So that's what we take here. Like, everything we do, I don't care what it is. Like, if one kid's being disrespectful, we create a culture where everybody calls it out. Or if one kid's not going hard, we have created a culture where everybody's calling it out. So if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. And that's kind of how college is. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to learn real fast, boy. Hey, I'm that guy that's got to get off the floor. So like, we try to create that same environment, but it's definitely the closest thing to college. For sure.
So I love how this is going, because we got the beginning of it to, and actually have a product of it here to explain from the other side. So as we're continuing to close this gap, you guys went through this training, watching this training, being trained, just taking this all in. Yeah. Where did the light bulb go off of, like, man, we need to start training?
I think it was more so it started because, once again, like, we were basketball junkies in college, right? And also in high school. And so up in Tallahassee, we always talking about basketball. But during that time, Florida wasn't getting the respect that it needed. Florida was just viewed as just like a football state, like football
track.
Football track, some baseball, things like that.
But New York had basketball.
Y'all can definitely handle the ball.
I keep saying, I argue with you all the time. When the internet hit and everyone saw the true stories, New York, it was just, it got exposed. It got exposed once the internet came. Like, the GOAT wasn't really taking the quarter off the top of the backboard. Early pro again. Yeah, like, come on. But, during that time, everyone thought, like, hey, Florida was football. So us just being raised more so inside South Florida, right? It was like, man, there's so many ball players there. Right. So what we decided to do, we said, hey, you know what? We're going to take this show on the road. So we really went and took our scholarship money, financial aid money, pooled it together. And then we went back home inside of the summer and just put a team together, right? Yeah. And we called that team Breakdown. And we took that team up to the Rubble in the Bronx. In New York.
I was checking. Is there a Bronx anywhere else? I don't know.
during that time, Rumble in the Bronx was like one of the top tournaments inside of the country. But we came up there with the Florida boys, South Florida to be exact, and we did really well up there. We made it all the way to the championship. We ended up losing the championship, but however, we just put the country on notice. To a New York team. Yeah. Did we use Sebastian that year?
No, well, we beat Sebastian.
Yeah, we beat Sebastian that year.
Sebastian Telfair team. Then we beat the
Gauchos, probably the
No, I will be honest. All right, the first team that tournament was my first time seeing real AAU teams. So that was my first time I saw the 6'4" point guard, the 6'5" combo, the 6'7" wing, the 6'10" 4, and the 7'1" center. And I'm like, this isn't real. I remember our first game was against some no-name team, but every person on the team was 6'3" or taller. And so, I remember asking my older brother, I was like, man, and everybody on this team is 6'4" or taller. I'm like, man, how we gonna, how we gonna win? What are you thinking? He was like, we should just pack up and go home. Sarcastic. I'm like, okay. So I saw his energy. I'm like, we beat that team by 20. Our next game is J.R. Smith is on the team. Tim Thomas players. Never forget this. J.R. Smith comes off the bench. He ain't a starter on that team. My oldest brother goes zone, 3-2 zone, same 3-2 zone that we run today. Beat him by 1 at the buzzer. So I'm, so it just that day, Saturday, it changed my whole life. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Because you're looking at these teams, and I'm like, how are we beating these teams? So the next on Sunday is Championship Sunday. You got to win 3 games in order to win the championship at the Rumble in the Bronx. Sebastian Telfair just made the cover with LeBron James. So we go inside the hotel. We went and bought 20 magazines with his picture on it.
I know they were gonna
boom, 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 boom. You see this man? They had Sebastian Telfair and Chris Tabb, a big man that went to Pittsburgh, and man, we beat them boys by 8. Now we that was one time we played Florida basketball. If it wasn't a foul, if we wasn't guarding you, we was roughing you. It was a tougher game.
It's a real fight.
I remember Sebastian Telfair went to the hole and his headband came like that. Shout out Sebastian Telfair, because I'll tell you this anyway. He was my favorite point guard of all time in high school. It's not even a question. It's not. If you ask me who was the best point guard in high school ever that I've ever seen live, it's Sebastian Telfair, and it's not even close. No matter who you say, I'm like, Sebastian was better than all of them. But that day we beat Sebastian. Then we beat the there was a good team in Florida called the Tallahassee Wildcats. We had history with the Tallahassee Wildcats because that's who he played with playing AAU. That's a whole nother story too, because it's a whole another story for another time. But we wound up beating them. That team had 3 pros on it. They had Darius Washington. They had Ronaldo Boakman. I forgot the other kid's name. They had about 7 to 8 high major players. And so we played Sebastian Telfair for them at 9. Then we played the Tallahassee Wildcats at 11. And then we played a New York team. I forgot who was the NBA player on that team. And we lose by 6. We played them 2 hours later. So you playing game after game after game. That's before the NCAA came with the restrictions where you can only play 2 games. It was a gauntlet to win those tournaments. It wasn't who was the most talented and who had the most players. So it was a battle of attrition. And we got to the championship. They wound up beating us by 6. But that put your name on the map. That put our name on the map. That was like the first time that Breakdown got noticed on a national level. And all those guys from that team, they were successful. But we had an NBA player on that team named Xavier Dowdell. Left-handed kid from Pahokee, Florida. Mark. And this, I'm not trying to be funny, but you know what I'm saying. In Pahokee they chase rabbits. So like I said, I'm not trying to be funny. So if anybody from Pahokee here, they know I'm not trying to be funny, but they say that's how those guys there are quicker, faster, because they chase rabbits for fun down there. They let all the rabbits go and they chase them. I'm like, okay. That's y'all do y'all thing. Not chickens, rabbits. No, they chase rabbits.
Like the cane fields.
Yeah, they like the cane fields. The rabbits come running out, and we got a whole tutorial on it. Not to mention, we had to drive from Florida to New York. So I want to be clear. You're in a 16-passenger van. I'm 20 something driving, all these kids, and I'm like, why am I driving 22 hours to New York, to the Bronx, Actually, so it was a good experience. It definitely got us national exposure. So that was cool.
So you took that experience and you guys just took off from there.
Oh, that was all right. So that was the team. We were back and forth. We was in Tallahassee during that time, but we would come home to South Florida on the weekends.
Okay.
I would say around 2006 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Darance, we both were living in South Florida, and I was like, man, we got to start training, man. Because when you're around basketball, you see the lack of development.
Yeah.
Especially at the high school level.
Yeah.
And so I was like, man, let's start training. We started a training company called Shooting for Success.
I remember that.
And so what we were doing, we were just offering free training lessons to every coach that would let us use their gym. So that was our thing. Hey man, let us use your gym. We'll give you players free training lesson. And some coaches were, they were offended by it. I can imagine they probably was like, no, I do training. But some coaches was like, hell yeah, come on, man. Y'all do breakdown. Come and train them. And that was probably the start of it. And then I would say about we were going to different places. Then we got a gym that we kind of called our home. A gym in Hollywood, Florida. The director over the gym, he was like, man, y'all can use the gym anytime y'all want, just as long as y'all can train. He was the girls coach at South Broward. Shout out Coach Walker. He let us use his gym. So we would go in there every Saturday and Sunday and just train his girls, and then we'll train just the ball players, and that started our business. And then the biggest thing that probably changed was maybe a year and a half after that, we got the coaching job at Northeast High School. Principal Williams. Principal Williams believed in us. He was like, I saw enough. I want y'all to come coach these guys. And that set in motion a series of events that led us here today. Now we're coaching high school basketball. So it's a little different than AAU. A lot more rules. A lot more parameters. And then me and Coach, we became teachers. And I think that started his professional career for where he's at now. Right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely with that. I mean, like going into just more so just like the education part with Mr. Williams, he was the principal at that time. And, not only he offered us a coaching job, but he also said, you guys can come and just be educators, because it's the same thing what you're doing with basketball, right? How you guys teach and instruct with basketball. He said you can bring that into the classroom and there'll be no difference. And you got to understand, we're young during that time, 24, 25, straight out of college.
Wow.
And he was like, you can impact on the court and also inside the classroom. So we always grew up, my dad, he was big on education. So we always had to have at least a minimum of a 3.0 to even get out the house.
Yeah.
So now we bring those same lessons just, growing up, infusing inside the classroom, and now we're teaching the same way how we teach on the court. Kids gravitated towards it, so now it was a marriage made in heaven. So it's like, man, I love teaching inside the classroom, and I love teaching, on the court, because it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
So that started the education part, then also started the basketball part, and then the whole development. Knowing with development that it can really change kids' lives.
Correct.
I mean, we was getting kids that at the end of the day, their parents come from humble beginnings. And then we'll tell them, like, listen, this round ball right here can take you to places that you never even imagined.
Yeah.
And it can also change the whole trajectory of not only your life, but your parents' life. And that's why, it's exciting to see Mo here right now, right? Because we had the same type of conversation, with his mom. You said, listen, your son have the skills to go to a college and you won't have to pay a dime. I remember his mom looked at him and said, now listen, he's got the what? Now my other son. You remember that, Mo?
Yeah.
She was like, now listen, my other son is the one.
To this day, I still talk to her about. I'm like, Mom, you really said like that's crazy, man.
She actually
I really put in the time.
she actually referred to his little brother as the lion. She was like, he's a lion.
Right.
And Darren made a good point to Mo's mom. He was like, listen here, I can't speak on your youngest son's mentality because he's not around us. But he was like, the stuff that we require our players to do, Mo does it every day. He is a lion, you know. So he explained it to me. He was like, you know, Mo is running 3 miles to the beach, then doing a beach workout and have to walk back home. You know, Mo is coming inside the gym every day and staying later for training after practice. You know, like just the stuff that he's doing, that's some lion stuff. So he was like, I can't speak on your youngest son, but I can tell you this, Mo is a lion, you know. So when I heard him say that, I was like, God damn, that's some tough stuff. I mean, now that I think about it, the words are coming out of my mouth, you know, if we were to do that today, we would probably be in trouble. The 3 miles, like 3 miles to the beach, then do a beach workout in the morning, and then have to walk back. It was like, you know,
but they was walking back and they was coming to practice. So we'll drive back. We'll say, hey, you need to meet us back here at 5:30 and be on time for practice. Those guys was coming back and they was like, okay, ready for practice after they did all of that workout. Now you're about to have a practice like Mo was saying. So now we are putting the college atmosphere that you're going to go hard. So if you're not going hard, okay, now you're on the line. So that's why it's just like now when you hear the saying where people say, hey, he go hard. So going hard is a skill now, right? That was the expectation with these guys.
I can speak on that too because like you look at today's times and you look at a lot of the kids that are coming up and they don't understand like what hard work really is. They think like hard work is just showing up to the gym. Like everybody shows up to the gym. But it's like what you're doing when you're there. And I can tell you guys this, for all the people that's watching and listening, whatever, like you want to gravitate towards people that push you. And like I don't know what made, because I came from Dillard. So Dillard is equivalent to like a DeMatha or something like that down there. Not even the DeMatha, but those big time schools up here. Like Dillard is one of those big time schools in South Florida. 100%. So, you know, coming from there, I knew in order for me to get to the next level, I had to go somewhere where they were going to develop me. Because the year before I went to Northeast, like I said, I'm at Dillard, and I remember going to watch them play, and they had this 7-footer. Shout out Malik. You know what I'm saying? Malik Price Martin. And I never forget, I sat there and watched him. I'm like, yo, he's doing everything that I can't do. And he's 6'10", 7 foot. I said, I got to get better. Like, I don't know how I had that thought as a 14-year-old, but I did, 15-year-old. And I just remember telling my mom, I got to transfer because I knew I wasn't going to make it there. And then I go, I pull up to practice one day, and these guys are outside playing on the outside court. Like, they have a gym in Northeast, and it works, and it's usable. But they was like, nah, we're going to go outside and practice. And I never forget, I was like, these are the guys I need to be around. And then, like, I've never been in better, like, I've been in the best shape of my life playing with these guys. My mentality changed, like, in terms of, I look at challenges now, like, yeah, I can go through anything because of the things we had to go through. They give you a snapshot of the physical demands, but it's also the leadership requirement. Like, I remember every step of the way, one of these guys, Coach Kenny, will always put challenges in front of me to see how I handled it. And, you know, when you're younger, sometimes you get a little mad or your feelings about it, but it just made me who I am today. And I try to tell these guys all the time, like, thank you. But, yeah, definitely, it was some challenging times.
I would say this. Coach Mo is the typical guy where you can tell what kind of coach a person is. He's a 6'5" guy. So he's going to, 90% of the time, he's going to be taller than 90% of the players. So you can tell what kind of coach someone is, what they do with a 6'5" guy, right? Because most coaches in America, I'm not going to, you must say Florida, just in America, period. He's 6'5", he's good, he's got to play the post. So that is American coaches in a nutshell. That is actually the downfall of American coaches because, you know, Mo walks into a normal high school at 6'4", 6'5", and he's learning how to be the best post player he could be. So when I first saw Mo, I was like, Mo, man, you can't play the post and go to college. So you got to make up your mind. Do you want to go to college or you want to just be a high school hoop legend? You know, and Mo was like, I want to go to college. I said, okay. So in order for you to go to college, you need to become a guard. You need to be able to dribble, handle, and shoot. Dribble, shoot, and pass. So, at the end of the day, that's where the work come in. So a typical day for us, because during the season, you're getting ready for the season. But once the season ends, that's where this work starts. A typical day for us in the summertime would be we get to the school, they run to the beach at like 6 a.m. We do a beach workout, they walk home. Summer camp starts at 8 for like the younger kids. The older kids are the camp counselors.
Yep.
So they camp counsel from 8 to 12. Yeah. Then from 12 to maybe 1:30, we got a workout. You got to go hard in that workout. Then from 1:30 to maybe like 2, we're eating lunch. Then the camp ends at around 4 or 5. Then we do another workout. We do more weight room workout. Nice. Then from like 4 to 5, we do weight room. Then for about 5 to 6, we'll have a practice because it's the AAU summertime. Then lastly, because we have a name, we're bringing in all of the guys that used to play for us and all of their friends. So now college guys are coming inside the gym to play. So now you done had a whole day of work, and now you trying to battle against a guy that's a fringe, NBA guy or a borderline NBA or NBA guy or a Division I guy, and you're like, oh my gosh, you got to wake up every day and do it. So we had to open gyms from like 7 to 9 every night at Northeast. So our guys that went to high school, they know they had to do their stuff and come in, go against these guys at night. So it fostered an environment where you was getting better, you was training younger kids, but you were getting advice from older kids at night. So it created like a really good environment. Even kids from other schools or players that didn't go to Northeast, they would come to those open gyms and they'll, talk to our guys. So that was a typical day for us back in South Florida when we was coaching. Yeah, so he had to go through that, man. And
and he's still with you.
But the best part about it though is honestly is that you can see the difference between guys that stay around versus guys that don't. And you can see the difference from coming to GBA or the Gillian Academy and then guys that play just for breakdown, the guys that play on other ages.
That's your little
GBA. GBA, yeah, man.
GBA.
He ain't like he don't be in the huddle saying GBA. Yeah, he be in the huddle.
I'm like, GBA. I was like, GBA.
No.
Banging association.
No. This guy, man. Gillian Basketball Academy. We're not gang bang. We're not affiliated with any type of gang in any way, shape, or form. No, but no, for real. Like honestly, I can't put in words how appreciative I am because in those summertime sessions, coming from where I come from, it's a lot of like gimme, me, right? Yeah. So those guys putting that environment together. And you seeing the wealth of knowledge being shared. I don't care if you're a scrub, because in basketball, if you're not good, sometimes you get called a scrub. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the times you gotta be if you're a scrub or you one of the best players on the team, guys from we had guys like Demetrius Henry from South Carolina, Malik Price Martin, USC, TJ Sapp, Murray State, Jelani Hewitt, Georgia Southern. I'm talking about these guys have legendary careers at their prospective schools. But they're coming to talk to you you on their level. So that just gave you the confidence as a high schooler to keep going. But also when you playing against your high school peers and you seeing how much different you are in terms of your IQ, athleticism, ball handling, whatever your skill set is, you get to realize this is an environment where I'm getting better and you feel yourself getting better every day. First of all, you run into the beach and back, you're doing something different than most guys. And then when you get to the gym and you going hard, I remember we had to do 200 push-ups before every workout. He's like, no, I remember you put your bag down, 200 push-ups, go run. You know what I'm saying? And do your core. And then you come back and you going hard for an hour. I'm talking about the Northeast gym is super hot. In the summertime, I don't know if the AC wasn't working or they just turned it off. But it will be so hot in that gym. You just being there, you okay, yeah, I gotta really focus. So they always created the conditions to where you had to really turn your mind on and cut all the distractions away. But you just see the difference in how your game just grows. Year to year, I can say I honestly got better. And I'm talking about still today, year to year, whether I'm around them or not, the lessons I learned, you get better just from remembering your struggles and remembering the conditions.
But that's basketball in itself. If you like Lauren Hill said, if you ain't growing, you dying. Real talk. So I mean, you know, our mission is you got to add something to your game every year. So when I see you this year, what did you add? The next year, what did you add? You know, but just to go back to time, we started breakdown the AAU team in 2000. It's 2025, so that's 25 years. We started training, I believe, in like 2007, 2008, somewhere around that time. But we've been doing breakdown for 25 years. Wow. So, and that's boys and girls. Like when he talk about the training, you have girls that are going through the same workout. They running to the beach. They doing it. You know, the girls. You know, like
they were tough though.
They were tough. I mean, you got to understand. You know, I made it to a state championship game. You know, with 6 girls. You know, I'm talking about the whole year. 6 girls. 6. 1 sub. If we got hurt, we was cooked. You know, somebody got a foul trouble, we was cooked. But you know, I knew I went into it with 6 soldiers. You know, and that's high school. The AAU team we would take out. You know, we had girls from South Florida. You know, if y'all heard some of the stuff that me and my man Coach Patrick Gajardo, shout out Coach Pat. If y'all heard some of the stuff that we were saying to those girls, we probably would be arrested. But you know, I will say this. You know, from coaching elite girls, I'm not talking about regular girls, but coaching elite girls, you understand that girls are way more mentally tougher than guys at that age. So they allowed us to coach them, which you know, for us, you know, now we're allowed to actually be our authentic selves, as Coach D would say. Now we can tell you, hey, you are doing bad, or you suck right now. Like this chick is kicking your, and now that I'm saying, I'm like, God, dog, we were saying some bad stuff. You know? So if any of the girls from Team Breakdown, I apologize.
Hey, but they still have. But I see the girls still come back.
100%.
Nyla still come back, and she said, "Yo, they're crazy."
I'll be honest. By the time I got to Nyla, I had to kind of calm down a little. By the time we got here, I'm a totally different person now. I'm a dad.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I'm a totally different person than I was when I was coaching our first breakdown team, or even our first girls team. I told you.
Listen, you really gotta have belief in him as a parent. I have three daughters. If he was coaching them, we'll be fighting. Back then, I mean, like this guy was on a whole nother level. But I mean, like honestly, like what he was doing, he was really preparing them to be mentally tough. And so that's why I say, as a parent, you know, you had to really get past what he was saying. Right? Or no more so how he was saying it. Until like just more so what he was saying, because he really did make those girls really mentally tough. And honestly, all those girls or ladies, they still come around to this day. And you know,
the parents, the parents allowed me to coach. Right. The parents, if you know, like if I'm saying something, the parents are like, yeah, you're right. Get on them. You know, when we go out of town, I'm talking to the parents the whole time. We're sitting down and, you know, and we're having lunch, or we're socializing with the parents. So they allowed me to be another villager in their village of raising their daughters, you know. So, you know, I was like, you know, so I had the backing, probably the environment that we were in, you know, that South Florida environment is a little rough and rugged. So, you know, it was, you could do that now. You can't do that up here. You know what I'm saying?
Completely different dynamic.
But I'll tell you the truth. I love it when y'all do it to my son, man. I'll tell you the truth. Because I go crazy. I don't think you can even go crazy on him because I go crazy.
Right.
If you see some of the things I've done to him, you guys are probably like, what in the world?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a shell of myself as far as like being a mad or mean coach. I'm a shell of myself now. Now I'm enjoying life, man. I'm a dad now. So.
Yeah, you said something. I'm gonna tell you. You said something to me and Rufus that changed my whole perspective. I remember we went to K Sports and we're playing, and I'm like out on the court, like, should have shot you. I'm going crazy, and you came after and you said, "Yo, listen, let me talk to you." I was like, "What's good?" Me and Rufus was sitting there, and you said, "Listen, if you are mean to your son, I'm gonna have to be nice to him. I can't coach him and be nice to him.
Yeah.
So I need you to be the nice guy, so I can be the tough guy. What you need to do is after this, you look him in the face and you get in the car and you say, "Yo, did you play your hardest today?" He said yes. You shut it down and you go watch a movie. You know what I did that day? I got in the car. Like a good soldier, I turned. I said, "Coach," I said, "Actually, Rashad, Did you play hard today? He said, yes. I said, all right, we're gonna go watch a movie. And we went to watch Aquaman.
Go into that a little bit more, man,
Yeah,
because especially in AAU, high school, parents don't get away with it as much, right? Just because of the structure of it. But AAU, it seems like there's an elevated sense of entitlement that the parents have.
Yeah.
How's that causing that detriment into that player's development?
All right. So this is the thing. I think first off, you got to pick the right AAU team. So that's one. And then you have to trust the coach. So if you pick the right AAU team, you trust the coach. Man, as a parent, man, and you got to let that coach do his thing, because if you're yelling at them, especially at that younger age, because they receive everything that you're saying. So maybe as 11th and 12th grader, those guys are a little older, but as like a 13-year-old man, and you have the dad getting mad at them. Now as a coach, I've lost them, because their mentality, their mental is gone, because whenever your dad yells at you, you're about to get a whooping or you're about to get chastised. And so those younger kids, it's hard for them to differentiate the yelling basketball and yelling for discipline. And when you playing and you look at your dad, because all them kids, they look at their dad or their mom, and their dad is rah, 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 rah. They're like, man, I'm in trouble. So now as a coach, they getting it from me. And I'm like, I'm just pouring, it seems like I'm pouring negative energy on the situation.
And then on top of that, I mean, kids, honestly, with their parents or guardian, whoever it may be, they don't want to disappoint them, right?
Yeah.
So like that is like big. So now when like a dad or a mom is really getting on them, it's like, man, I disappointed my dad, or I disappointed my mom, or, I didn't meet the expectations that they probably had at the time. So a lot of time parents view the game as the championship, like any game. And so, not knowing that this kid have like hundreds of more games to play. So, you got to pace it out. So at the end of the day, Zach's make a good point that as a parent, at the end of the day, you asking your child, hey, did you play hard? Did you go hard?
That is
meaning that, hey, did you give it your all?
That's it.
If you did that, all right, hey, let's keep it moving. Because what's going to happen is, because with us, especially playing for us, we're going to put so much demands on you. Yeah. We're going to challenge you so hard. I'm talking about mentally, also physically, because also it's just more than basketball with us. Yeah. It's also the game of life. Yes, right? Yes. So, what I'm saying, we want you to take the same tools you applied here on the court and apply it, into the outside world. So now when you're going through that, and then now you got to go home and go through the same thing. Like, honestly, I have seen kids just say, you know what, honestly, I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to play
that's a real thing, that basketball fatigue. That basketball fatigue is real. And a lot of the times that's driven by either the parents or a kid not seeing the success they hope they'll get from it. But you see it most with parents, man, and the kids will be like, man, this is bringing negative energy to my life. I got my dad mad at me or my mom mad at me because I didn't do what they told me to do. I got my coach mad at me. And a lot of kids just be like, man, I don't want to do this no more. Yeah. I'm about to get a job. And then the parents blame everyone else except for us. So, yeah, I'm like, man, Pops, man, y'all let this kid, as a 7th grader, 8th grader, man, let them breathe, man. Let's make it fun. Yeah, let me be the bad guy. I don't mind being a bad guy. We can get inside the car. Coach Zack is an idiot. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But what you don't want to do is, and I've seen this side too, where the relationship is ruined through basketball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I had a rule with my son. When you get inside the car, what I told you to do, that's what I did with my oldest. So, hey, man, did you go hard? That's all that matters, man. Even to this day, I'm like,
if he didn't go hard,
if he didn't go hard, now it's like, now that is disrespectful to you. That's disrespectful to this family. Yeah. I'm like, man, you represent more than you when you're on the court. Your only job is to go hard. Yeah. So if you play a minute or if you play 30, if you score 30 or you don't score a point, and as long as you can walk out the game saying you go hard, because that's the most transferable thing to life. is going hard. If you go hard on the basketball court, it's going to transfer to you going hard in life.
Yes.
If you go hard in life, you're going to be a successful and productive citizen.
Yeah.
And as a parent, as a mentor, as a coach, and that's all you want is for these kids to be productive citizens. So, man, going hard is the biggest segue into basketball. So, you know, in my house, it was like, man, you got to go hard. In my dad's house, it was like, you got to go hard. Whatever you do, go hard.
Yeah,
you know, because if you don't, man, come on, man, you're cheating yourself.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're capable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
got me in trouble here, though.
What you mean?
So, you know, I don't let Rashad play video games on a weekday. Right? I don't let Rashad play video games on the weekdays until weekends, because he's going to regular school. He had to come here, train, go back home. By the time Rashad, I was like, man, this boy must really love basketball, because he was doing every sport at the school.
Yeah.
So he would go to school, do the sport. I'd pick him up from school, drive him here.
Yeah,
he trains here. He'd go back home. It's homework. Bed. That was his day. So when he started to come to the academy, you know, he's finished. But by the time I pick him up here, he has all his schoolwork done. Everything's done. I said, bro, you can play video games on the weekdays, right? So Zach's son, Zack, he told him, convince me why I should let you play video game in the weekdays.
Yeah. I remember that.
He's videotaping this, right? Zack goes, yeah, I think I should do it because I'm at the gym, I'm playing, and even Rashad dad let the shot. Oh my goodness.
Classic speech. I got to give it to you. Classic speech. He had a minute and a half monologue, and he was like, "Man, I finished all my work. I'm going hard in my classroom and on the court, you know." And you know, like even Rashad dad allows him to play. I was like,
with that.
Yeah, me and my wife, we died laughing just hearing his speech. But he threw Marlon in there. He threw oh my God! So you got to hear this. A very good moment. I'm gonna tell you, and that's what here at Gillian Academy. The Gillian Academy stuff is just so. There's a family essence when you come into this room. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about you come here. You know, me and Mo have conversations on the side. We talk about life. We talk about money. We talk about women. We talk about every different thing in a positive sense. Where we going with that? It's the lead up.
Babe, if you see this, that's fine.
Hey, man, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right? Me and Durance have sat in the bus in DR just talking about business. Only.
Yeah, that was a great moment though.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
Me and Zack have talked basketball. In the mornings, I come here. Sometimes I'm late for work. If you see this work, because I'm here talking to Zack about basketball. We talk about everything. We sat in the garage at NDR in the car for about an hour.
Yeah.
Just him giving us his philosophy on why he does what he does. Yeah. And me and Rufus is just sitting down there listening to him giving us his philosophy. I remember we went to Memphis, and man, we got tore up. We didn't win one game.
Yeah, we did it
close.
Yeah,
no, not even close.
Yeah.
Right? We played Maxi. We played Rondo. We played all these teams, right? And we got destroyed. In my mind, when I was going through, I was like, man, shot you something, get the heck out of here, man. What's going on? He was just like, yo, man, kids are learning.
But honestly, what more can you say?
That's what I'm talking about. But then I saw them come back here,
put in work.
Put in the work.
Yeah.
And we had to go back within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The next when we went back, we won 4 games out of 5.
4 out of 5.
That people were like when the team that beat us, they were jumping on the wall, doing backflips like they won a championship.
Yeah.
How they're like, until the last game when we saw the people that we saw the first one, they were just like, and I remember when Zack said to me, man, he said, I said, man, Giant, man, we should have won that. I'm going off. Zack said, did you see Marley? Marley was handling the ball today. I was like this. Yeah, he was, but we didn't win the game. He's like, but Marley was handling the ball. And I was like,
Bigger picture.
what the heck is this guy talking about? I'm like, that's the win. I was
Yeah,
like,
that is-
so I sat back and I said, oh man, this is a different mentality.
Yeah.
And this is where my son needs to be.
Yeah.
So even when Darren came to me, we're at a Waffle House. He doesn't like Waffle House.
Oh,
We're at a Waffle House in North Carolina,
Yeah.
or South Carolina when we went down there at the Nike
The U.S. Open.
US
The U.S. Open. Yeah.
And he was just he was there trying to. He didn't know I already had it in my mind Rashad's gonna go to the academy.
Yeah.
But he was like, "Yo, why you saw they come to the academy?" He started, right? I'm like, I'm gonna let him go through it.
So that's a perfect segue.
Yes,
Coming up
yes.
on time here, the academy. It's a different concept, right? Like not everyone is doing it in the United States.
Yeah.
Let's be clear, right?
Yeah.
Where does the concept come from? Like, where is it? Hey, let's really take this to another level outside of just training and AAU. Let's create our own academy here and see what else we can do in growing these guys.
It's the European model.
Yeah.
You go to most countries outside of the United States, and whatever sport you do that sport from at 12 and 13 years old. So let's just say, for example, in the Dominican Republic, if you join those clubs as early as 12 years old, you're a good basketball player. So you're doing a hybrid system of basketball and education at 12, 13, 14, 15. It's only in America that, for basketball players, where kids are required to go to spend 8 hours inside school. So it's like, and then out of those 8 hours, I mean, Darren can probably tell you a little bit more than I can, but 5 of those hours are actually classes that are needed. At most, sometimes it's just 4 hours of class. So what we've done here with our model at Gillian Academy, we've cut out the fluff. We've cut out the unnecessary classes. And each kid is getting 4 hours of school, the needed amount of school hours to graduate. The other 4 hours, instead of doing other stuff, we're focusing or we're dialed in on specifically basketball. So now you're getting that model of basketball and education, and we submerge them into one.
And then also, I just wanted to make sure, because a lot of times, even though we're doing basketball, what gets swept under the rug is more so the education part of it. So when we go back to when Mr. Williams gave us that job, right? And he was telling us, you guys are great basketball players, but I think you can be great educators as well, because it's the same thing, how you guys relate. That really got us really diving into the educational part. And growing up, like education, that was the biggest part with my dad. You got to have 3.0 to get out the house and everything. So education was big. So just being inside the education part for 20 plus years, being an educator, you see how education is going inside this country. So there's two type of learners that's happening right now. You have the dependent learner and the independent learner. In our current education that we have, we are developing dependent learners, right? And so that's going through your traditional schools right now. And so what happens when you get to college, you got to be an independent learner, right? So at the end of the day, now that's how freshmen are struggling. And you see the dropout rate for freshmen are really starting to go up. Now here, we're looking at it like, okay, hey, because we have a platform, we have an online platform, we're going to hybrid next year. Well, on the online platform, that is preparing kids. You got to be an independent learner. You really got to be an independent learner. So now it's grooming them. So now when they get to college, it's like, okay, hey, I'm prepared for this. So now you're prepared for it on the academic side of it, right? And then now also with the basketball side of it, because with the NCAA, with the new rules and everything changing, now high school players are being compared to college players, right? So with that right there, if you go your traditional school route, right, and let's just say basketball, you don't have enough time in the day to be a college-ready player. So when we were putting this together, it's like, okay, how can we meet the education demands and also the athletic demands and marry the two together, right? Now it's all about time. And so like Zach was saying, now, okay, you get your 3.5 hours, which is more so academics. You eliminate all the fluff, all right, basket weave and everything. Now, simply your academic course that's going to count towards getting into a university or getting recruited. That's what you get. That's the only thing college is looking for, right? And also being that independent, student, that independent learner. And then now you get 4 hours of basketball. So that's 20 hours a week. I don't care what you do in life. If you're doing it for 20 hours a week, you're going to become better.
Yes.
And then so at the end of the day, now kids have a chance or the time to become a college-ready player. And so even here, even with our varsity teams, we don't play varsity basketball. We take it up a level. We play prep. So now it's a thing where now you got these varsity guys, they're playing prep. So now when a college coach comes or a college coaches get a tape, they're not playing varsity kids. They're playing prep kids. And then so now it's like, okay, you're raising the bar. You're raising it academically, and you're also raising it athletically. And so that's what you're going to get when you come here. And you're right. Pretty much nobody's doing it how we're doing it here.
And just to speak on the success of it, our average school academy GPA is a 3.96. For everybody in the school, the GPA, overall GPA is a 3.96, which is remarkable because you have 25 young men at this school. And for the average GPA at the school to be a 3.96 is really good. And that's kudos to those young men that's putting in the work. But it's also a testament for what we're doing. It lets us know that we're on the right path, because if the average GPA is a 3.96, and then, you know, we already have 2 guys here that have basketball offers, you know, we've kind of like, you know, I think we found a good way to submerge the two. And it's, you know, you're seeing the rewards that's coming from what we've kind of built here. So, you know, I'm just kind of excited about both those, you know, how the basketball side and the educational side. Right?
You know, it's not as much as it's maybe strange to a lot of people to digest. I don't know if I even shared much of this on our podcast. So I was homeschooled for high school. Right. So like you were talking about a lot of the fluff that's in the schools. Everything was condensed down. You got your work for the day, you did your work, and that was it, right? I put my attention in, I was playing sports, but I was more so in music. So a lot more, my energy went into practicing the piano, all those different things, right? And then as we got older, my parents were like, hey, let's go enroll them into the community college. So I was 16, my brother was 14.
His brother was 14 when he started
community college, right? So now you fast forward, they're almost 30 years, 20, 30 years, right? You know, my brother, PhD, engineering. I'm a licensed engineer. We all went through the whole school. So we got to the top, but it was so untraditional at that time because, to be honest with you, a lot of black families were not doing homeschool. We were at our old church. They were looking at my parents like, what the heck are you doing to your kids, man? Why are you doing that, man? They should be in regular school. So now, if I go back and rewind it, I'm just like, wait a minute. So that hours I was just doing playing piano, that's the same hours that I could have been dedicated to playing sports. And then with icing on the cake was I was watching this movie. I can't remember the movie it was. I think it's probably, oh man, I'm almost embarrassed to say it, The Notebook.
Notebook is the best love story of all time. Hey, shout out to Notebook. That's top 5 love stories all time. So hey, shout out Notebook.
And I hope this was the movie that I saw this in, but it was a long time ago I watched it, guys.
So that disclaimer, a long time ago.
There was a scene where she left, right? But if you listen to the schedule that she was going back to in her schooling back over to Europe, overseas, violin, focus on these different areas that are going to be skilled things for life. That was also, academic was just another package of it. So their lifestyle was like, hey, we're going to use some education, but here's the other things that you're going to be doing with all the other time. So then when I see basketball, I say, yo, it's the same thing for basketball.
100%.
Why not?
100%.
So I'm loving what you guys are doing, man. Love to hear the success that you have.
I was sold, and I told Rick, because Rick's son goes to a private school, he pays for education, right? I told him, I said, bro, if I ever pay for education in my life, shoot me, dog.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'm never doing that.
I've never paid for education. Not now, not never. Come a few years later. He was like, I'm gonna pay for it. I trust me, I was so much against it. I'm telling you, when I came into to the gym, man, I remember the first day I came in, and when you guys had your grand opening, I was just like, I like it. Then I came to the practice, I saw, I said, this could be a good AAU. And then the summer camp is when I saw Rashad go from one level to the next. I remember that game that he went through the kids and did that. I said, oh my gosh. Right? And I'll tell you, it was funny because when Rashad first started the Gillian Academy, GBA, you know what I'm saying?
You're gonna be the loudest one in the huddle.
Yeah, GBA. So when he first came here, you know, I'd drop off at 7:30, he'd shoot around, boom, 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 boom. By 4:30, when I walked through the door, Rashad had on his clothes. I was like, let's go. For the first week, Rashad was like, yo, let's go. At 4:30, when he's at the door like this, looking like a puppy. Let's go. Right? Now, I come here, I got to be like, yo, Rashad, let's go, man.
Yeah.
I got to go. Rashad, boom, change off his clothes. After he finishes his school, boom, 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 boom. He comes out here. I remember Rashad, we were at home one time. No, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Rashad said, oh, Dad, I gotta get do my schoolwork. I was like, no, you don't have to today because you don't have a. I think it was. He goes, no, I'm gonna mess up my streak.
Yeah.
I go, what's your streak? He goes, yo, every day I'm on, and then my GPA. He's this. I'm like, what the heck? Okay, don't mess up your streak. Then. Go ahead and do your work.
So I will say in reference to that, we have created an environment where we've made education competitive.
Yeah,
we've added a competitive component to education.
Yes.
You know, so the middle schoolers are competing with the high schoolers on who has a high GPA. And so, you know, every so often the high schoolers will walk inside there while the middle schoolers are doing the work. Like, hey man, just so y'all know, our GPA is blah, 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 blah. And so, you know, it's just a testament to my own son. You know, my own son was like 3.1, 2.9, hovering at around that 3.0, you know, just good enough to make me happy. You know, same rules as my dad. You got to have a 3.0. My son, like, okay, let me get a 3.1. My dad would be happy. Or a 2.9, he won't be too mad. Yeah. You know, so once he started going here, I remember, you know, he had like a 2.5. And the kids were like, come on, Zach, man. You hurting us, man. And he came home and he told my wife, he was like, I gotta do my work, man. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to catch these high school kids. So it kind of like flipped his mentality on just education and how he viewed it and how he approached it. You know, he just became a better student, you know, just through that competitive environment. And also you take a typical, to piggyback on what you said, you take a typical 8th grader that goes to this school. By the time they're in 11th grade, they'll be doing the road.
Yeah.
So
you have one right now.
Yeah, you have one right now.
Yeah.
So if you start in the 8th, you'll graduate from Gillian Academy, hopefully with an associate. Right. And so that is the trajectory of all of our students to graduate with associate's degree. So if you graduate with an associate degree and you done got 20 hours a week in basketball for 4 years, you're going to be a hell of a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just a basketball player. You're going to be able, because then lastly, and I would say this just for us, once we started doing basketball, whether it was AAU, Gillian basketball, whatever we did, we always viewed basketball as a ministry. So this is how we get to shape the youth. So this is always and will forever be a ministry for us. Now you probably couldn't have told that about maybe 10 years ago when we were wilding out, you know. But I can't tell you, this is how you know if a coach or a person made a difference on the kids that come back and see it.
Yes.
If the kids are constantly coming back and seeing them, they're constantly, you know, giving them their props or their flowers, that's how you know that adult or that person, that mentor, they made a difference in that person. Because you have some people, I can imagine for y'all, be like, I'm never seeing that person again. Can't wait to get away from them. You know, probably throw up the middle finger in your head mentally. But then there's some people that go, let me go visit, blah, 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 blah. Then you have people like, hey, I like what those guys are doing. I want to be with them. Yeah. And that's the testament of you as a mentor or as just a teacher, is those kids coming back and wanting to be around you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
let you know. We can wrap it up. I'm telling you, but there's going to be a part 2 because there's more to the story. There's a lot more to the story that we have other people that we have here.
Yeah.
We won't even talk about the business side of stuff that people don't understand. When you start a business, to keep what you guys are seeing, these lights on, the AC. I don't know if you hear it in the background
Yeah,
that you never had.
Make
Right?
the players soft.
Yeah, they make you play a song. Right? All the stuff that they have to do, we're not even going to cover that right now. We have another, there's going to be other segments.
Yeah.
I'm sure other segments.
Looking forward to it.
Yes.
Sure.
So I'm going to tell you, if you're in the DMV area, and not only the DMV area, I know you have a player here from South Florida who came up here and he bored. And that's part of your package that you're going to make available.
Prep school.
Yep.
Prep school, they can board. I'm going to tell you, and I'm not because, and you travelers, you know me and Ricky, man. We don't play around. We're not going to put our kids or my family is my most important thing. I can tell you, and I can tell you, any boss that ever sat in front of me and asked what's my most important thing, I always tell them my family and my time to my family, right? So if you're anywhere in the country, just go on GillionBasketballAcademy.com.
Yeah.
That's it.
Or you can go to thegillionacademy.org. That'll give you just more sort of school part of it.
Yep.
And GillionBasketballAcademy.com will also give you the basketball side of things that we're doing here.
Also, we're on Instagram also at Gillian Basketball Academy. That's our Instagram, or Gillion Academy team. That's just that focuses more on just the team and the basketball side of it. But for the Instagram, Gillian Basketball Academy, you can find us there also.
And also breakdown.
Breakdown.
Team breakdown is a staple. You go team breakdown on Instagram, team breakdown on Twitter, every social media platform, even on YouTube. Team breakdown. You type in team breakdown. We have a YouTube account with a lot of videos. So definitely check us out if you're interested in AAU at all levels. You know, beginners, intermediate, and advanced. Right.
And guys, they've made a lot of. We had a chance the other night to go to a basketball game here in the DMV. We went to see the Portland play, not the Wizards. Love y'all. Anthony Simon came through your program, right?
Yes.
We got a chance to go there, see him shoot around, and as soon as he turned around, these guys said, "Yo, Anthony, you ran up." He was able to. We had about 100 and something kids that were there, and they all sat around, and they were. Ricky was even he didn't come early enough, but
That's a long story.
Long story. So
I didn't get invited to the earlier part. Nor to the suite either.
Right. So and he was able to come up. So that's a testament that what you guys did down there and all the different stuff.
And he came up and he was being rushed. Like the person that does the course, she was like, "Hey, you gotta go. And he was like, "Hold on, I have to talk to these kids and I have to let them know." So that's a testament to him. He's like, "Nah, I got to tell these kids what it is." And so, shout out Anthony for doing that.
And then also shout out Anthony because Anthony still give back to the program.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go. I'm gonna tell you, if you're Gillian, if you ever came through Gillian, breakdown, shakedown, whatever these guys, success. Well, your training called shooting for success, right? You came from right, and you're not giving back to what they're doing here. And these guys don't ask, and I tell them all the time, you guys need to give me your Rolodex. I'll make a phone call. Give back. This school right here, what they're building here, I think is such a great thing that I sit down and I'm at work and I'm trying to figure out things. I'm like, and I don't want to dime from them. I paid for my son's school. I don't ask for nothing for them to give me anything. I don't want nothing. If I could pay more, I'd pay more. Yeah. Right? If I could.
No.
Write it down. I said if I could.
You got it on camera.
Ready, got it on camera.
Mic'd up.
Mic'd up. You got to give back to this academy. So if you're listening to this somewhere, or even if you're not listening to this somewhere, they're a 501c, which if you give to the academy just out of the goodness of your heart, you actually get something back for your taxes. Because I know that's important to a lot of people. So they're 501c, and I don't know if you guys have a donation section on your page?
Yeah, so I mean, we do. So we have what we call the Kenny Max Foundation. That's a 501c, and it's more so in honor my father, Kenny Gillion, and also our other partner, Phil father, Max, who died from cancer. And so both was our first teachers. We call this foundation the Community Assist Leader because we want to go ahead and give back to the community. Because just like when we was coming up, there was like training sessions, there was different schools where we couldn't afford, right?
Yeah.
So we want that to be more so the assist to help families to become part of the Gillian Academy, where they can take part of this education, take part of basketball. So if there's anybody out there, if you're looking to go ahead and continue this mission with Gillian Academy, our Kenny Max Foundation is open. We'll love for you to go ahead and donate, and just to help marginalized families or families who just need assistance to be able to take part in what we're doing.
Love it. Well, guys, man, thanks for joining us again on the Success Journey Show. We'll see you guys next week at the same time. I'm not saying next week. It may not be next week. You see another show. But we'll see you next time in the same place. All right? Success Journey Show. All right, everyone.
You've been listening to the Success Journey Show, where your dreams, drive, determination, and diligence are the foundation to success. For more information, check out thesuccessjourneyshow.com.